great Clubhouse room needs a great moderator. Let's talk about how to moderate a Clubhouse room. In today's video, we'll get into my 4 top tips for moderating a Clubhouse room. If the worst should happen, we're also going to talk about how to handle disruptions in your Clubhouse room. And just because I want to see you become a Clubhouse master, I want to give you my #1 piece of advice for entrepreneurs starting on Clubhouse. What does it mean to moderate a Clubhouse room? It means that you're in charge of keeping the flow of the room going. You're reining people in who might be overstepping or talking too much, and you're the one that creates the room, assigns the moderator status, and encourages the conversation and collaboration inside that club. You can consider your Clubhouse room to be like a mastermind. And honestly, Clubhouse is incredible that there's some pretty big celebrities and big name entrepreneurs that you can be in a room with, that you can have the opportunity to virtually sit across the room with and talk to about anything and everything. The cool thing about Clubhouse is that it's audio only. So you could be anywhere in the world. You could even be in your bathtub or in the car and talking with anyone on any topic. I love Clubhouse because there's people all over the world talking about all the topics that I'm interested in. And as a moderator, you get to be the host of these exciting conversations and can really cultivate an exciting community inside the club. So with that said, let me give you 4 tips for moderating. The first one is to encourage people to ask questions. If people aren't coming up onto the stage, that's what we call it when you get unmuted and are brought up to be able to communicate with everyone else. If people aren't talking or asking questions, the room might die down pretty quickly. So you might also want to prompt some questions and prompt some conversations and ask people to say, hey, you can request to join the stage and ask the moderators or ask the special guests some questions. Whenever I create a Clubhouse room, I actually title it based on a certain topic that will attract people in so that they'll want to come either listen or participate in that conversation. So make sure that as a moderator, you're creating the space to allow them and tell them, encourage them that they can participate and ask questions. My second tip for moderating a Clubhouse room is to frequently reset the room. So what this means is you're introducing the new people that have joined the room and you're just recapping what's being discussed, any rules. You're also encouraging people to invite their friends. You guys tell them, hey, like ping your friends, and it gives them a little notification of, hey, I'm in this room. Great things are going on. You should come join this conversation. And you can also encourage them, hey, any questions? You want to come up on this stage and ask some questions? Invite and encourage that communication. My third tip is to maintain the intention of the room. Now, that also goes back to whatever you've titled the room, that people are going to come into this room for a specific topic. You want to make sure that you pretty much keep to that topic. Of course, we can go on tangents and talk about other things, but make sure that you're bringing back the conversation to the original intention, what the title of that room is called, because people will be joining and coming in and out at all times, that if they come in and they're like, hey, I thought we were going to be talking about business, but you're talking about like cars. Sure, that might be interesting to some people, but not what they came here for. So make sure that you're continuing to bring the conversation back to its original intention and continuing to keep this place a safe space so that other people can join, they'll feel comfortable to come up on stage and share their takeaways or ask questions. My fourth tip is if you want to be a great moderator, you can join moderator networking rooms. There are moderator networking rooms that you can join to learn about best practices. And that way you can learn more about how to determine the format of your room, or how do you want to present as a moderator? Do you want to be one person speaking in your Clubhouse room? Do you want to have a panel, multiple people speaking? Do you want to have open discussions where you can invite people in to speak and share? Think about how you want to moderate your rooms, and you can always join these Clubhouse rooms to be able to practice and see how other moderators are doing it, so you can take some of those skills into your own book. Now, before I get into my next point about how to handle disruptions in Clubhouse rooms, because it happens, have you subscribed to this channel? Make sure you go hit that big red subscriber button, because I'm putting out videos like this every single week. Now, sometimes it happens. Disruptions can happen, things can get out of control, but as a moderator, you can bring people up to the stage and you can kick people off if necessary. Sometimes if someone comes up and maybe the conversation gets heated, or if someone asks a question that turns into them, I've seen this happen before, they ask a question that turns into them actually promoting or being spammy. I've seen moderators very eloquently and appropriately interrupt and say, hey, you know what? That's not the intention of this room. Thanks so much for coming up, but I need to respect the integrity of this room and I'm going to ask you to leave. And well, they remove them. And I actually respect that so much as a guest in a Clubhouse room, because it's uncomfortable. It's like that awkward moment where someone like grabs the mic and they take off with their pitch, but they weren't actually invited to do that. So as a moderator, don't feel bad to interrupt someone and tell them if that's not appropriate. If it's making the rest of the room uncomfortable and might reflect on you as a clubhouse moderator, you want to make sure that you are continuing to maintain the integrity of that space and keep everyone else in the community feeling safe and enjoying the experience. So in the event that a contributor becomes destructive to the room, despite your best efforts to keep them on track, you can and should take action. You can move them back to the audience to silence their mic, you can remove them from the room altogether, or you can block them. So my best advice to entrepreneurs starting a clubhouse room is to, first of all, choose your moderators wisely. You want them to be responsible, and you don't need to have an excessive amount of moderators. It could be just you, or maybe you have another one or two that's going to continue to amp up that conversation, depending on the room. The best way to learn how to be a good clubhouse moderator is to practice, create your own club, create your own rooms, and get that practice in, because it's just like a muscle. Just like if you exercise that, you're gonna get better at it. And join other clubhouse rooms by moderators who may have been doing it longer from you, and take notes on the things that they're doing. I do a clubhouse room every week. You can come follow me at Marley Jax and see what we're doing and see how we moderate our rooms. And if you want to learn more about the networking app that everyone's talking about, we have a whole playlist of videos down below that tell you everything you need to know to build your momentum on Clubhouse. So check out that playlist linked in the description below.